Hey, it's Tara the Remote Yogi, and I'm joined today with Amelia, who is one of our OG tribe members and also an alumni of the Self-Love course and one of my best friends. So happy to have her just chatting today about self-love. So this is a topic we talk about all the time, but I often get asked about relationship advice. And so I thought today we would do a quick chat on why self-love is so important for building better relationships, whether this is friendship, love interest, whatever. The more we can love ourselves, the more we can actually show up for other humans. So I wanted to have Amelia join me because she gets this lesson really well. It's something that she's had to work on through the years. So yeah, just kind of share with us real quick kind of your story of finding self-love and how it's kind of given you some basic changes in relationships.
Yeah, that makes me think that it's not even romantic relationships. I used to be the neediest, most annoying friend ever, and I was like, if I don't hear from my friends for like more than a day, they don't love me. They lost interest in me. And I was so anxious in all my friendships, and I just didn't trust the fact that they were just my friend and loved me, because I was like, why? I don't love myself. I don't understand how they possibly could. So I think it's made me a much better friend, and also like much better able to support friends, because I'm like, okay, I know I'm worthy of love, and I know if somebody's going through what I was going through, I'm able to be there for them and help build them up.
Yeah, so like at what point did you realize that like self-love was something important that you needed to focus on?
When Taryn and I met on Remote Year, actually, I started Remote Year in a relationship with a partner, and then month one didn't work out. All of a sudden, I was single for the first time in approximately like 12 years. And I was like, not only am I single for the first time in 12 years, I'm on this trip around the world. I'm not with my family. I'm not with my typical support systems. I have to learn to rely on myself, and I can't do that if I don't like myself.
Yeah, I think that happens for a lot of us. I mean, with my story, for most of you know, like I was married, and when I got divorced, when I went through that process of like being alone again, is when I was like, oh, like I've got to like who I hang out with when it's just me. That was my big moment of like self-love. But I know also a lot of people, got married young, and you're in a relationship and you've never had that moment where you're like, oh crap, I'm alone and having to figure this out. So other times I see it when people are starting to be like, my relationship isn't as strong as I thought it was. And they start to take care of themselves, and then suddenly the relationship starts working better. Mm-hmm. So since you've like started playing around with the self-love, and you've done our course, and you've done a lot of work on your own as well, romantically, where have you seen like the shifts come in?
Yeah, we've talked about this actually. Taryn and I are very similar in this. When I feel like I'm not taking care of myself, so if I'm not journaling regularly, if I'm not meditating regularly, if I'm not taking the time to just sit down and connect, I get very needy with my partner. And so he kind of clues in, and he's like, what's changed? Why are you so needy today? And I have to take a step back and remember, okay, it's not my partner. I need to take a step back and fill my self-love quota and fill my own bucket, because I'm looking to him to fill my bucket for me.
Mm. Yeah, so oftentimes like we build these different codependent patterns, and they can be very subtle. It can be things like you look for your partner for your self-esteem. You need them to kind of praise you to feel good. You need them to give you attention for you to feel like you're worthy of it, or, these different things. So when you start to really love yourself, you're not looking to your partner to like glorify your ego. And so then it actually allows you to want to spend time with them purely for spending time with them, instead of being like, I need you to fulfill these things for me. And it's like less selfish.
And it is crazy how you can see the difference in your hangouts. It's like, okay, am I here because I want to be here, or am I here because I need to be here because I need him to fill my bucket right now? It's very different vibes in the hangout for sure.
Yeah, when you can start filling your own bucket by yourself, you actually can show up for them in ways that you weren't able to before, because you were just being needy, saying like, how can you take care of me? What am I getting out of this relationship? So it's being able to support people when they're going through their hard stuff, but also, like you kind of barely touched on this, it's the fact that you can celebrate your friends. If you're in a kind of insecure place with yourself, if you don't feel good, and then your friend is off doing great things and accomplishing shit, you're gonna feel really insecure, and then not be able to celebrate your friend's success. as well as you could if you were in a good place for yourself. Then I could say, you know, awesome job doing what you're doing, where you're at in your life. Even if I'm not there yet, I could actually feel that love and respect for you and your accomplishments, without feeling that like insecure jealousy that happens even among friendships. I mean, something as simple as like when my best friends used to, you know, be trying to build a family, like that's a big thing for me, is I really want to be a mom. And before I had a lot of self-love and respect for where I'm at in my life right now, I would just think like I would be happy for them ish. Like, you know, there was still that little bit of like, I'm happy for you, but you bitch, I wish it was me. You know?
Yeah. And that's a really shitty feeling when you're on the other side of it, being like, hey, I'm trying to share the fact that I'm doing really well in something, and what you get is blowback because of their insecurity. That just doesn't feel good for either party. Because you're like, I just want to be supported right now, not kind of brought down by this. Like, I'm coming to you to celebrate this, but if you're unable to celebrate it, that's just really bad for both parties.
Yeah, it's not very fun.
One of the other things that I've noticed like was really big for me in all relationships, whether it's with coworkers or friends or like my loved ones, was creating like boundaries. Because once you love yourself enough, you can be like, hey, I actually like need space right now, or hey, like I'm not okay with the way you were treating me. Or, you know, you could start to have those conversations because you respect yourself in a new way, which is huge.
Yeah, I definitely used to have friendships where it would be kind of like girl drama or petty or catty, and like I would be okay with like getting sucked into the fights. And then since I started my self-love journey, I was like, actually no, there's better ways. So I was okay with kind of just like letting those friendships fade out and just holding space for the friendships that I knew were really good for me and really beneficial, and just that we could tell it was mutually beneficial even if we only see each other once a year and we're like, hey, you want to come to my part of the country and we can hang out?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just like having friends that respect you enough that like when you say no, they get it. And like, again, that's having your boundaries by, you know, if your friends want you to come out drinking and you're not feeling it, but you don't have to make excuses with your friends who actually love you. When you have boundaries with people, like it just creates this environment where it's okay to ask for your needs. And again, in the relationship, like I can come to my partner and say, I'm actually having a rough day today, and I would really like for you to talk me up. Like, as much as I can take care of myself some days, like sometimes it is good to be able to say, I actually need you to like cheer me on today. And just having that like respect for yourself that you can ask for what you want is another thing that's important in any kind of relationship.
And definitely, same with my partner. I would just say, okay, today's been really hard. Can you just be here? And he's like, yeah, of course. But potentially other partners would just be like, no, I don't have the time. I'd rather do this or blah, blah, blah. They just kind of make excuses. But once you have the right people, like you just don't have to make excuses anymore, and you don't really have to explain yourself either. So when I take my like 5-hour naps, I don't have to explain myself to Taryn anymore.
Yeah. And because when you love yourself, you actually create this environment where people like get you, or they don't, and the people who don't, they just kind of fall away naturally. And so yeah, you might lose friendships or, you know, people in your life, but they're usually people who are like not worth your time anyway.
And I used to have the worst fear of losing friendships, so I'd hold on even if I knew deep down that the friendship just wasn't right, or if it wasn't making me happy, it wasn't fulfilling, etc.
Yeah. And so like people who love themselves fully won't allow themselves to continue to be in relationships with people who are not supportive and who are not like there to cheer you on. It just like it no longer fits your like energy. You're like, I can't even. Quick note here, with romantic partners, we both have experienced this, just throwing it out there. When you start to love yourself a lot more, things in the bedroom become a lot more fun.
Yes, as soon as you love yourself and you're like, yeah, I have the confidence, let's try this new stuff.
Yeah, and you're not like constantly worried about like, what does my body look like? What is he thinking of me? What's his judgments right now? I'm just like showing up as myself and having a good time. So we'll just throw that little note in there.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys so much for joining Amelia and I. If you've got any questions about relationships or self-love, we're happy to answer them. Drop them down in the comments below. If you're watching this on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, make sure that you're following me, subscribing, doing all the fun things. And if you want more information, we'll add some extra goodies over on the blog. So head over to theremoteyogi.blog and you'll get some extra goodies there. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Bye.